do the unboxing for him.
It's a box. She loves it.
Well, guys, we're actually super stoked about what is in this box here. If you guys haven't heard, Password JDM, the carbon fiber line is available again. And we pulled the trigger and...
No.
We pulled the trigger and got the carbon fiber engine cover, as well as their compartment covers. Everything is dry carbon. Quality looks awesome. And they're pretty lightweight, pretty thin. But this will be a game changer as far as under the hood, how everything looks. Cleans everything up, covers up the battery, the master cylinder, the clutch master, all the wiring, all the ugly hoses that are on boxer engines.
I did get a sticker. It's never complete without a sticker in the box.
Oh, these back pieces are nice too, because they actually, in their mold and everything, they put these little nutserts in here that are threaded in the back portion. So it should just, all the holes are pre-drilled and they're in a location where you already have a pre-existing bolt in the car. So they're pretty much just drop in place.
Password JDM coming through. Super stoked about these in the car. And a huge shout out to them for
Oh, you're filthy. But you're slammed now. So we'll go over installing these and we'll let you know how the fitment is and everything else like that. We already know it's going to look awesome, but we'll see if it's as simple as what we think it's going to be to actually put these in. For these ones, we do have the strut bar, so we'll have to see if we need to remove that first. This piece with the cutout here is going to go in that corner, and this cutout is for the master cylinder. But the only other thing too is, since we're supercharged, the oil reservoir for the supercharger is right here in the corner, so this covers that up, but that might get in the way and we may have to figure something out. But
I think we're gonna have to cut it. I'm almost positive. All in these two, we're gonna have to cut a spot for those.
And if you have hood struts,
see, it's supposed to go right up in
I'm
there.
gonna have to trim it out a little bit to fit around this. So if your car is completely stock underneath the hood, then you'll have no issues. But yeah, we gotta trim that out, figure out what we're gonna do with this. I guess we could try to see how the other side is gonna be if we have the strut. But
Oh yeah.
let's see, we'll unmount these. Now we're gonna cover up this ugly battery. Yeah, this side's gonna have to be cut quite a bit more. So, like I said, if you're stock, you'll have no issues. If you're not, then you're gonna run into some problems. So what I'm doing is I just removed the strut, the hood strut from the lower mount, and now I am removing the strut bar because both those get in the way. This one will be fine once this is in, that will not. So kind of a little bit at a time here. Not lose this piece.
it up on this side.
Yep.
Okay, there you go.
It's got these threaded spots back here, so we'll see where those actually sit.
Right there, yep. I can see it lining up.
So if you are stock, you'll have to remove the factory strut braces just to give yourself some extra clearance. Okay, so basically there's a little push clip that you remove from here, and this will thread, you'll put hardware directly through into the threads in this. There's another spot back here that you'll need to drill out if you want to mount it back there. There's a bolt that goes right here that you remove if you have hood struts, at least the Grimspeed ones. That's where the mount goes, so you just remove that, and then 2 bolts in the fender. And when you put this on, everything pretty much lines up where it needs to be. The only issue now, as far as cutting is gonna go, is for the strut bar. This goes all the way around here and covers up mounting points for that. So we're gonna have to go in and trim out about 1/2 inch to 1 inch all the way around to be able to get the strut bar to go back in. The factory one fits around it just fine. Alright, so just like every other carbon fiber piece on this car, it seems like, first thing we do is cut it. Now, this isn't going to be enough, but just want to trim out a little bit at a time just to make sure.
It's almost enough.
So I'm going to remove this bracket, that way I can easily just put it in here and measure it up against it instead of having this whole thing trying to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that really quick.
You're off over here. So.
That might actually... No, I need to... So I have clearance pretty much all the way around it and access to the bolts, except for right back here. It needs to be notched up just a little bit. So what I thought I was going to need to cut away is a lot more than what I actually need to cut. So that's why you start off with a little bit first, test fit, and then cut more if you need to. So you'll have a much cleaner look if you just do it this way. So, and out. And just a tiny bit more.
Just so it's not resting on it.
Yep. When it comes to building cars, especially when you get to this stage with them, you just gotta fully commit. So you're spending hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on carbon fiber pieces, and you're having to make it fit, especially since not everything is the same brand and made to work together, so you got to make it work. So cutting that out, we're gonna have to cut out that side, we're gonna have to relocate the oil reservoir, relocate, if not just completely get rid of these hood struts and maybe get a different style that sits further back. This carbon fiber piece we had to cut just for the filter to fit through. Carbon fiber canards had to be cut to fit. Everything requires some work, finesse, and unless you're paying a shop to do all this for you, you just gotta be fully prepared to do whatever it takes. The rally backer kit went through and cut all that, the body of the car, everything. Just commit to it. Don't be afraid, just do it, and you'll be just fine. What I'm gonna do right now, since this centerpiece, the actual engine cover itself, doesn't require any trimming or anything else like that to get it to fit properly, regardless of the mods that you have done. Now, I don't know if it would fit with the aftermarket, any of the aftermarket intakes, but as far as the manifold itself goes, I don't know if any of those sit higher. If you get the intake manifold spacers, it may be too high for this, but this just mounts to these brackets. This one is holding the ECU, and it's got two 10 millivolts that you just pull out. And then on the driver's side, same metal bracket, you have one 10 mil back here, and then you'll actually have another right here. You'll remove this one, the one on the metal bracket, and then the two other ones on the metal bracket over there. And then those will just line up with the holes on this. Just like so, it drops into place, and fitment is about as perfect as you can get. They have little cutouts and everything to go around. All of the holes line up. Over here too. And with the Jackson Racing supercharger, this bend is far enough out where this is actually not even going to hit. So no modification needed. The strut tower bar will go right over it. So now all you do is you just throw your hardware back in, and then that piece is done. Now, one thing I'm going to do, just to make life a little bit easier if the time comes, since this covers the battery completely, there's no way to either throw a trickle charger on it if you're storing it, or jump start it if it is dead. So I'm going to hook up connectors for a trickle charger to the battery and have this end accessible anytime we need to charge it up or anything else like that, just to make things a little simpler if that time does come. Alright, so now this one I had trimmed out and got this put in place here. There is another spot back here that you can put some hardware through, but it requires you to drill this out, and then you can kind of see where the hole is. It's right here, but I'm just gonna leave it as it is because I have some hardware that I put through here, which the clip, the factory clip that's in here, you pull that out and then it just leaves an open space so you can throw some hardware in there. Again, I'm using M5 bits. I have an assortment of lengths, and then just some leftover fender hardware, and then put a little 8mm bolt on the bottom, or nut, and tighten that down. These are not tightened down yet, just in case I need some wiggle room to fit everything back in here. But yeah, now that that's in place, I can put the bracket for the strut bar, as well as the factory strut brace, which with the Cusco strut bar, this goes on first. And now I'll put that piece back on. Alright, so on this side, if you have a Jackson Racing supercharger or a catch can or anything else installed in this area, you will need to trim out to relieve enough space to get this panel to go on. This was all solid right here and curved and everything else like that, and I'm just slowly working my way. This is probably my 10th time test fitting it, just because I want the cuts to be as close as possible, just so it still looks clean. So I need to trim a little more out here just to give this some room so this isn't rubbing on that line, because that will eventually eat through it. and then I need to trim a little bit right here. Otherwise, bolt holes line up. Once this is trimmed out a little bit, this will sit a little bit further back, so then this will be centered inside there. And then I can go ahead and remove these factory clips and throw some hardware through there to mount that. I still need to trim this portion out, but once I get everything fitted in the car, then I can move on to this one. I don't want to start with this one because there would be no way for me to figure out exactly how much I should cut with everything in the way here. So I'm going to go ahead, trim this out a little bit more, trim this out, and then I'll go ahead and start test fitting for the strut bar bracket. Alright, so this side is ready to bolt in. A lot more trimming on this side than the other one, just because of the way, the shape of this carbon piece and everything else. This bracket also has a brake master cylinder brace. Working around that, everything fits underneath here. It doesn't hit in the corner, so you don't need to notch this out at all, which is nice. I did have to make a little groove here just to be able to slide this into place, and so it has enough room so there's not any pressure on this. This is all completely free. This one looks like it was meant to be cut out that way. I could have gone without notching this portion out and just ran this line over the top of it, but it just looks so much cleaner when any excess wires or lines or anything else like that is tucked away and you don't see them anymore. So that's basically the look of it right now. I'll go ahead, I'll get these bolted in, and then I'll start reassembling the strut bar and the strut tower brace. And then as far as this install goes, it'll be done. Alright, so I'm ready to put the strut bar back in, and as you can kind of tell, there's some water spots on it, and those don't just wipe off because this is actually polished, it's not chrome or anything. And then there's actually, it looks to be like chemical burns, which you can get from different degreasers or cleaning products, things like that. So what I'm gonna do here, since I have it out, just gonna use some of this stuff, and this stuff usually works really awesome as long as it's still wet, as far as the compound that's in this. As long as this stayed sealed and it's not super old, this should be moist and it'll do wonders on polished steel or aluminum. Here's how it used to look, and here's how it looks now. Boom. It's a mirror. So I'll go ahead, finish up the rest of this, slap this back in, and then we will be done. You guys, this looks so amazing. Like, bar none, this is the best thing that you can do to your engine bay in a BRZ FRS 86 to just bring it to that next level. So I guess it's time to show you guys the finished product. So let me know what you guys think of the carbon fiber pieces for the engine bay. Again, these are made by Password JDM. I will link their website down below. It's not Password JDM, but Password JDM's carbon line is back up and running. By far, again, the best thing you can do underneath the hood of these cars aesthetically, just to make everything look good. Boxer engines aren't known for being the prettiest engines, but this definitely brings this to another level. So guys, make sure, like the video, comment. If you find yourself watching more than just one of our videos randomly, think about subscribing. Because right now I think we're like 9% of our watch time for our videos is from subscribers. So need all the help we can get, and we need your help. So if you like seeing more of this, then you'll definitely want to hit that subscribe button, because there's plenty more coming.